Welcome back, Sethbling here. Today I'm going to show you a cool mechanic using some new features from the 14W7A snapshot. It's the Midas touch. You'll notice when I step on the ground, the block beneath me turns to gold, and anything I touch is going to turn to gold. If I touch up against the side of a block, it'll also turn to gold. If I come up against a sheep here, it turns to gold. Can turn anything into gold. You'll notice I have an iron ingot in my, or a gold ingot in my inventory. Let me show you why that's the case. If I go ahead and break some of these grass blocks here, or tall grass, whatever you want to call it, eventually one of them will drop a seed. There we go. And so this seed actually gets turned to gold too. So if I go ahead and walk up, I notice I picked up a second gold ingot. And so it just turns everything to gold, and it uses these command blocks over here. I think it's kind of neat to play around with. Now, one of the really cool things about it is it actually works with water. So if I start walking around on water, well, it's precisely that. I can walk around on top of water. I can even sprint, actually, and it keeps up. It's running the commands 20 times a second, so it does it fast enough that it's able to keep up with a sprinting player and still allow them to stay afloat. If I go ahead and dig in and whatever, it'll even the ceiling will turn into gold as well, because my head's scraping against the ceiling. So works pretty well, and like I said, it's based on the new features in the 14W7A snapshot. And how it works is there's a bunch of these rows of execute commands. It uses execute around the player to fill an area around the player with gold blocks, but only replacing certain other blocks. So this command block replaces stone with gold blocks, and only in a certain pattern. And then this command block replaces grass with gold blocks. And the pattern is basically, let's see if I can grab. The pattern is like this. So these are the blocks that'll be turned to gold. And then actually I'll put in some other blocks for illustrative purpose, so you can see what is and isn't getting turned to gold. So if I hop right in here, you can see these blocks are getting turned to gold, but anything that I didn't touch in there is not getting turned to gold. And so I had to use 3 command blocks for each material. Now, for this version of it, I omitted a lot of materials. This basically only deals with materials that will show up naturally in a world. So like grass and water, gravel, sand, that sort of stuff. But it doesn't work for things like wood blocks or beacons or, whatever. Just for demonstration purposes, I tried it with every single block type, and it was lagging a little bit. You'll also notice that my chat is getting filled up, and that's because I'm recording this in 14W7A, and I think this will probably get fixed soon. But at the time of recording, this is just an artifact of the way that the execute command works. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing to replace the blocks around the player. In order to replace the items, I'm doing something a little bit more complicated. Basically, nearby to the player, so I'm executing a command relative to the player, and it's basically looking for any items within one block of the player, and so that's what this thing looks for. And so it uses actually a second execute command. So this is multiple execute commands within a single line. And then for any items it finds within the range of the player, it summons a wither skull. And then it does it kills all the items that are within the range of the player. And then wherever it finds a wither skull, it summons a new gold ingot. And that's what this one is here. That's what this command is here. And then it removes all the wither skulls. So if I drop an item from my inventory, if I press Q right now, it'll actually detect that item within the range of me, replace it with a wither skull, and then kill the item and summon an ingot, kill the wither skull. So you might actually be able to see some of that when I press Q. If I press Q fast enough, you can see there's a wither skull appearing. It's really hard to see. It only appears for 1 frame, but if I press it really fast, you can see the wither skull. And yeah, so every time I drop the item is being replaced with a gold ingot. And then similarly over here, we have some commands that basically, if the player is within 1 block of a sheep, and so you can see execute at E type, or so this one's chicken. If they're within 1 block of a chicken, it summons a skeleton, and then with gold armor and invisibility and slowness, basically, so it can't move. Keeps it rooted. So it summons the skeletons at any chickens that are within a block of the player, and then it goes ahead and just kills the chickens by teleporting them out of the world. So I've done this for several different mob types. This one is for sheep, and so that's what causes the sheep to get turned into the invisible skeleton with the gold armor here that we're seeing. That's how it all works. And I think it's pretty fun to play around with. This stuff was definitely not possible before the snapshot, 14W7A. And yeah, I think it's really cool demonstration of what kind of stuff you can do with the new execute command. That's about it. Thanks for watching.